Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here. This one, while there is an article which I'll link, is one that it's the lip of a rabbit hole I want to go down because it's really a study of American history, although it does have political leanings to it because of the hypocrisy shown by many people. You see here the 2020 Democrats warm to expanding Supreme Court. And of course, this is Politico, a very left-leaning organization. So, of course, they're going to say, after watching Mitch McConnell transform the judiciary over the past 4 years, liberals are demanding a bold response and Democrats are listening. Senators Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, and Kirsten Gillibrand told Politico they would not rule out expanding the Supreme Court if elected, showcasing a new level of interest in the Democratic field on an issue that has until recently remained on the fringes of debate. The surprising openness from White House hopefuls, along with other prominent Senate Democrats, to making sweeping changes from adding seats to the High Court to imposing term limits on judges and more, comes as the party is eager to chip away at the GOP's growing advantage in the courts. We are on the verge of a crisis of confidence in the Supreme Court, Harris, Democrat, California, said. We have to take this challenge head on, and everything is on the table to do that. Expanding the Supreme Court would amount to a historic power play by the next Democratic president and Congress, requiring an intense legislative fight and the abandonment of many judicial and congressional norms. This is not the first time the court has been changed. If you have studied history, you'll know that originally, in the 1700s, it was five associate justices and the Chief Justice, all seats established in September 1789. Now, in July of 1867, Associate Justice 5 was abolished because, of course, that was a six-justice court, and that's not a good thing when you need to have a decision every time. So we then move to 1807, when Associate Justice 6 was created. Associate Justice 7 and 8 were created in 1837 and abolished in 1866. This is important to remember 1866. Associate Justice 9 created in 1863 and Associate Justice 10 in 1869. 10 Associate Justices minus seats 5 and 7 is 8 Associate Justices and the Chief Justice for the current 9-seat court we have. Now, in 1937, Franklin Delano Roosevelt proposed the Judicial Procedures Reform Bill. Basically, what he wanted to do was to say that every time a judge reaches the age of 70 and fails to retire, we will add a seat. If you look at the ages of the justices, they were all roughly the same general area that we have now, but on the upward side of that. The reason, of course, in the 1930s, to reach the Supreme Court, you should need a distinguished career as both a litigator and a judge. To do so means you're going to be at least in your mid-50s, maybe even older, before you're even nominated. So Roosevelt was basically saying that here in just a few years, when we have justices that reach 70, if they don't give me a seat to fill, I'll add a seat. And if they do give me a seat to fill, I'll get a seat anyway. This was, of course, never done. It is literally called the court packing plan. And that's what court packing is. We have liberals right and left today screaming that Donald J. Trump is packing the courts. But none of them said a word when Bill Clinton or Barack Obama nominated to fill vacancies, which is all Donald Trump is doing. There was talk not long ago by Republicans of expanding the number of seats on the Supreme Court due to the longevity of justices, and I really don't like that. I didn't like FDR's bill in 1937 when I read about it in high school and later in college, because it's a power grab. It's not a power play, it's a power grab. That was FDR looking at a court that had already ruled against his New Deal several times and saying, I'm going to just add people until I get the rulings I like. Now, though, we have Democrats who are eager to take this on and impose term limits and expand the court. One current suggestion is that we changed the court to a 15-seat court, with 5 seats nominated by the Republican Party, 5 by the Democratic Party, the other 5 filled by those 10 judges. Now, for a party that likes to scream about the Constitution not allowing Donald Trump to do this, that, or the other, they seem to ignore that the Constitution quite literally states the president shall nominate to fill vacancies on the federal courts. They will need a constitutional amendment to remove the power to nominate from the White House. They're not going to do this because should they ever regain power, they will want to say, he's the president, he nominates, and it's our job to confirm. Sound familiar? From 2009 to 2017, that's all we heard from Democrats. It's Barack Obama's job to nominate people. But in 1992, Joe Biden said that George Herbert Walker Bush should not nominate anyone during his final year in the presidency for that term because we just don't know if he's going to be reelected or not, and it really should be the next president's privilege to nominate for those vacancies. Of course, Herbert Walker Bush abided by that. Had he not, it would have been the Democrats blocking everything they could. I don't really remember much about Bill Clinton in 2000 because I don't remember too many vacancies, and I don't remember a lot going on other than Al Gore screaming that he invented the internet and that we were all going to die in 10 years if he wasn't elected president to stop global warming. Here we are 9 years after that 10-year mark, and now we have AOC saying we're dead in 12 years if we don't pass her multi-trillion-dollar Green New Deal. So because the courts will not support them because they are apolitical and unbiased, Democrats are saying we need to expand them and remake them so that they are non-political, unless they are political in our favor. And it's just nothing short of the tyranny of the minority at this point, to use one of the left's favorite terms, although switched from their term, tyranny of the majority, to be tyranny of the minority. The minority party is now quite happy to say, we're going to add justices on, but only after we win the presidency. You're not allowed to, but we are, so that we can then remake the courts in our way, and then later we can say, oh wait, the Constitution says the president nominates. So the president nominates all these new open seats. And if anyone says, well, the law you passed says it's not the president anymore, they'll be happy to say, well, that needs to be struck from that law because it's unconstitutional. Keep in mind, the Democratic Party is the party of Kamala Harris, who during the Kavanaugh hearings referred to the pocket constitution Judge Kavanaugh showed the room as that book. I quite literally carry one with me every day of my life. If I'm not in bed or in the shower, I have this on my person. I will happily send anyone who wants one on my dime. I already have them. It'll cost me an extra 50 cents to mail you one. If you'd like one, please look in the description and email me. Do not post your personal information in the comments. I will block those. But I'll be happy to send you one. I'd be happy to send one to Democrats in the current Congress, but I don't know that they would understand it because it quite literally says, no, you can't impeach just because you want to. No, you can't take away the right or the power to nominate judges from the White House. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. I'd send one to Swalwell with the Second Amendment circled along with multiple writings by the founders and the crafters of the Constitution that clearly say his push to ban guns is unconstitutional. But I don't think he'd understand it. But I've talked about this long enough. Let me know what you think. Keep the comments civil. We do not learn from argument, only debate. Also remember to like and share, and subscribe as well, and ring notifications so that you are kept abreast of all new content as it is posted. Until next time, have a wonderful day.